Giles Brown.
Let's talk.
Indeed it is, Giles Brown. Right then, earlier on, or in fact, at the end of last year, I recorded an interview with Tony Hoare about SAS, The Ambush. You're listening to Giles Brown on Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain. SAS, The Ambush is the explosive real-life story of the soldier to ambush and the mission to ambush a dangerous rebel group in Sierra Leone, as told by ex-SAS soldier and author Tony Hoare. He's been described as the real deal by Andy McNabb. I'm delighted to say that the real deal joins me live on the line now from Texas, where everything is bigger. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good to have you with us. Tell me a little bit about your career and how you ended up in Sierra Leone. And a lot of people won't actually know where that is. So tell me a little bit about your early soldiering, as it were.
Right. So I joined the army at 17. I was born in London, Hayes. Joined the army at 17, was an army nut from the age of 13. They even used to send me home from school because I was wearing my army cadet uniform. And I joined the Royal Green Jackets, Fine Infantry Regiment. Did 5 years with those, 2 tours in Northern Ireland. During that time, I knew all about the SAS, of course. But during that time there, the SAS had a liaison officer at our little fort in far-flung Fort Hill in South Armagh. So they impressed me greatly. So I decided I would go and do selection as soon as the tour finished, which I did. I passed successfully in August 78. Joined initially the mobility troop, which was full of paratroopers, so I just got verbally abused every day. I didn't like that very much. So after 18 months, transferred to the Halo troop, which is the parachute, high altitude, low opening parachuting troop for infiltration skills. Met my wife at the same time, remarried. Sadly, she's passed away now. So I've ended up here in Texas and married her best friend, basically, who's a pastor. So I did 18 years with the regiment, many successful operations in Northern Ireland, which, as you know, at the moment is under scrutiny with the various inquests. But I think we'll come out of that okay. Falklands. I was a Lance Corporal in the Falklands. We sadly lost a helicopter there with 22 souls. I actually wrote a book called Born for War, my first book, last year on the 40th anniversary of it, which I think was quite successful. Hence, they let me do this one. So I then into the Gulf War I, where I was a troop sergeant of a half mobility squadron. Unlike Bravo 20, who were foot patrols, and that's why what happened to them, because they had no mobility at all. We were very successful. We made contact and destroyed with American F-18 air support mobile Scud in Western Iraq, which is what our primary mission was.
So when you say mobility, were you on Jeeps? I mean, did you have track vehicles?
Yeah, Land Rovers. Yeah, open top Land Rovers. Like we call them the Pink Panthers because of the desert camouflage, basically. They were first used in Oman in the 70s and very successful. You can get 1,000 miles range out of them. You can load up whatever armament you want. They were open top.
Yeah.
Sadly, because it was the worst flipping winter for 30 years, minus 30. I had 9 layers of clothing and I was still freezing. And fortunately, our quartermaster did a blinding job and sent out all those big woolen Bedouin coats that you see the Arab Bedouins wear. And they literally did save our lives.
I just want to ask you a quick one here, because in that role, were you doing sort of forward observation? Were you kind of wrecking?
No, we search and destroy.
Okay.
Search and destroy. There was no, that was the role of B Squadron when they ended the war late. But both A Squadron and D Squadron's role were all search and destroy, offensive action, as we call it.
So you those are the sort of Northern Ireland, obviously Falklands, Gulf War, people know about. And it's the variety, isn't it, that keeps it interesting, I suppose, in the SAS, because a lot of people won't even know where Sierra Leone is. Never mind what was happening there 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, well, actually, I retired in 96. So what I've written about is a successful operation that my squadron did, and I researched it with the guys, both in the Air Force. And the book will explain all that. Both 7th Squadron, which was the Chinook Helicopter Squadron, Special Forces, formidable machines, formidable crews, very, very skilled crews. And 1 Para was the cordon, if you like, and I believe, although we don't talk about them a lot, the Special Boat Section were involved in doing reconnaissance as well.
So with Sierra Leone, presumably it's a civil war. The British troops have got in as a part of the US peacekeeping force. Set the scene if you can. Okay.
No, not initially.
Right.
Initially, they went in to evacuate British embassy staff and others. Now, this was twice. This happened twice. First time they went in and did that. Second time they went in, which is this time, where the guys got snaffled. They were peacekeepers, yeah.
So if you've got an embassy and it's all kicking off and you need to get the ambassador and the staff and bits and pieces, obviously it is the SAS that you call in to get people out, PDQ presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Basically, they put a cordon, again, with 1 Para support around the embassy, evacuate them by vehicle to the airport, which is also secured by the armed forces, both local and British. Bring in all those British personnel who want to be Iraqi. They don't have to be; it's not forcible. Mm. I imagine most of them did on the first one. And then away you go. And then they went back in when it all got sorted out. And that was it. There was a very big action, actually, which is well worth a read as well, by a guy that was a Pathfinder in 1 Para against the West Side Boys. This was, I think, prior. I'm not sure if it was before or after. It was the same year, possibly after, where a platoon of them up against 500 West Side Boys, and they give great account of themselves.
And again, for those who don't know, Pathfinders are the paras who go in before the paras go in, isn't it, to check? Is that
right, yeah. They go in and check out the landing zones and stuff, drop zones.
Yeah, okay, super. So the 11 British soldiers have been kidnapped. They're not up against a normal army, are they? They're up against one of these sort of group. I mean, the name.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of rowdy marijuana smoking druggies, basically, who thought they were something special, who were trying to take over the country, which was ridiculous, But
which obviously makes it difficult if you're trying to sort of deal with them in a normal way. You can't have a sort of like a conversation per se, like you would the diplomatic, because they're a bunch of kids with automatic rifles.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you couldn't have a conversation with them.
So when it comes to a situation where, because I think there was a murder of Dutch troops in Africa when they were all killed one by one. I think there was something horrendous happened in the 80s or maybe even in the 90s. I'm just trying to remember when it happened. So you've got to be really, really careful. At the same time, you can't have British troops being butchered and sort of taken through the streets of wherever, Freetown or wherever they are. So when was the decision made that, because this is highly, highly risky, isn't it?
Well, the decision was made immediately that they, contingency planning back in UK happened straight away. As soon as they were taken prisoner, captured, Director Special Forces would have decreed the squadron get ready to mount, an operation. At that time, it wasn't obviously sure that it would be a hostage rescue.
Right.
It was just contingency planning, right? It soon became aware that these guys weren't going to negotiate, and it was getting dodgy for the Irish regiment. And so D Squadron deployed by air. The CH-47s, the Chinook helicopters also deployed. And then one para out of South Cerney, which is the deployment base for this type of operation, and into the capital. And then forward mounted from the airfield there when the assault took place.
How much wrecking did they actually? How much? Because you can't just go. It's not like the movies. You don't just go in all guns blazing because everybody.
Yeah.
So how do they wreck it? How do they get there?
You can't obviously because it's jungle. You can't use satellite imagery. So I think it was. I'm pretty sure initially anyway the SBS were involved. I think the SBS were involved initially to just recce far back from the camp, and then the Red D Squadron went in and set up two OPs around the camp. And what you then do, I mean, that was like several days before, up to a week before, to get the routine. With that type of recce, it is very dangerous because you don't know how close you can get.
Yeah.
And so you then, like at night, conduct, or even during the day, actually, a close target recce, which means you basically go around the clock, like the compass, from north back to north, to recce it fully for defensive positions, how many people, wire defenses, all that sort of stuff. But there was nothing like that. It was a very basic, drugs den, basically.
And at the same time, they're unpredictable, and also time is ticking. So it must have been a nightmare situation, or at least a pressure situation. And these obviously these are guys who are used to pressure. Obviously, we want people to read the book, so we don't want to give the ending away as it was. But how sort of willing were the guys to tell you this particular tale, and why were you so pleased to write about it?
They were very happy to tell the tale. And I mean, there's books been written before, but never from the perspective of the supporting personnel. It was always what Joe Bloggs did in D Squadron 22 SAS, you know what I mean? So I looked at it differently and spoke to my publisher and said, look, here's an opportunity here where we get the ground view of every swinging tom that was involved in the operation. And it went very, very well. They were quite happy to sit and talk about it, and I was so impressed with their commitment. I felt I needed to write it.
I suppose that's one of the things, isn't it? It's not just the guys who pull off these, who go in at the sharp end, but it is the people who plan it. It's the logistics. It's the actual the real nuts and bolts. Because it would be very easy to do one of those sort of who dares wins kind of situations. But this sort of gets behind a little bit about how combined operations works and how very
exactly exactly that. It demonstrates how good a combined operation with Air Force and Army and Navy, where at times, like the Falklands, for example, all come together and make it happen.
What are you hoping that people will understand? Is it shining a light on an operation that people may not have heard of?
I would think a lot of people hadn't heard of it. I mean, this was going back to 2005. So, it's 20 years ago. So, young readers weren't probably even born then. So, obviously veterans will be aware of it. And I think a lot of the people that buy this book will be veterans. But yeah, there'll definitely be people out there, like you said, where is Sierra Leone,
The book is called SAS, The Ambush. Listeners, you can go and order it via our own virtual bookstore. You'll see a picture, just click on it, and a well-known distribution service will have it winging its way to you. You've done this sort of thing before, Tony, so I think, are you online? I mean, do you TikTok? I mean, where can people find you online?
No, I don't know. No, I'm a little bit like Andy.
Yeah.
A little bit reserved in my, and not. I don't want to remain anonymous, but I'm not doing the big sell like some of the guys who got their own podcasts and stuff like that. I don't do Twitter. I don't blog. In fact, I don't even email. My wife does that for me.
What's the next one then? Have you got something in the pipeline?
Well, I've approached, with the 35th anniversary coming up, I've approached the publisher about Gulf War 1, and I'd like to do that with the troop commander, my troop commander, who was at that time Captain David Wood, now Colonel retired David Woods, who was the troop commander of the half squadron I mentioned earlier. So we would like to do that. I ultimately would like to do one on Northern Ireland, but you can appreciate that's like years away because of the sensitivity right now. I probably won't even get away with it, so I probably won't do it. But it's like it's something that's never been done before. The Falklands hadn't been done for 40 years, and I was amazed that nobody had written about that. Funnily enough, when mine came out, the squadron commander had written one and two others in the squadron, one survivor of the helicopter and one other guy from boat troops. So 4 books came out in the same year. I hope that doesn't happen for Gulf War 1, but that's already been done by Andy McNabb, so, and others. So, yeah, Gulf War 1 definitely, and I'm contracted to do a book similar to Barras Ambush every 12 months, so I'm going to start researching. I'd like to do Operation of Mirbat, where sadly Trooper Laba Laba, Fijian guy, died, killed in action.
Is that the Oman one? Is that the one?
That's the Oman one. 9 guys against 300 guys.
Yeah.
The Omanis locked themselves in the fort and didn't come out to play. They were in the bat house, the British Army team house, when these 300 yuccas started coming down off the hills, firing their guns wildly. And Laba Laba went across, solely defended the 25-pounder, and sadly was killed in action.
I mean, even I know about that one, to tell you. So it's obviously a well-known story, but like you said, it hasn't been told properly. So,
Yeah, so they just actually 2 years ago they actually erected a monument to Laba Laba. So that's wonderful.
This book is called SAS The Ambush. You can order it via our online virtual bookstore. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today.
And you, sir. Good luck with everything.